like to thank Gleim and SiriusXM Aviation for sponsoring today's episode of the More Right Rudder podcast. Flight instructors know that weather factors like turbulence, precipitation, and reduced visibility can turn a routine flight into a challenge. But what if you had satellite-delivered weather data giving you the full picture of what's around you? With SiriusXM Aviation, get coast-to-coast high-resolution weather info, all without altitude limitations or line-of-sight restrictions. Teach confidently, knowing you have the best information available to make decisions in flight. Visit SiriusXM.com/aviation to learn more. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of More Right Rudder, the podcast of the National Association of Flight Instructors. My name is Sarah Staudt. I'm the Program Development Manager here at NAFI and your host for this podcast. Today we bring in a very exciting guest. Rodrigo Silvestre Molina Diaz and his wife Ines are joining us from Chile. Rodrigo is the Guinness World Record holder for the most number of flight instruction hours given by a male flight instructor. Welcome, Rodrigo.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Buenos días.
Hi.
Also joining us today is Gus Sorando from Stratus Financial. We met Rodrigo and Gus at Sun and Fun, where Gus helped us with the language barrier. Rodrigo, being from Chile, has his primary language is Spanish, and my primary language is English. So we had enough overlap to communicate some, but Gus is a huge help along the way. Welcome, Gus.
Thank you, everyone. Happy to be here.
We appreciate everybody taking the time to come on the show. We're so excited to have all of you. So let's start here, Rodrigo. When did you start flight instructing?
Hace 50 años.
50 years.
50 years ago.
50 years ago. That is a very long flight instruction career. How many hours of dual given do you have?
Now I have 47,000.
No, dual.
Total?
No, dual.
Dual?
Dual. How many flight instructor hours?
Total 30,620.
30,620 hours.
Oh, wow. Still counting to that precision after all that time. That is absolutely amazing. I mean, so many pilots don't even get to that much total time, much less instructional only time. That's absolutely amazing. What inspired you to become a lifelong flight instructor?
Nació porque yo no me gustaban mucho los instructores. Cuando hice mi curso no me gustaba cómo enseñaban. Y me dieron la oportunidad en el segundo club que estuve de hacer el curso de instructor. Y me gustó a mí y fue como una inspiración para mejorar la calidad de la instrucción, que no me haya tocado a mí.
Excellent. Yeah, so he was saying that he didn't like the two instructors that he had. So on his second flying club, they offered him to be part of the CFI program, and he fell in love with it. And he was like, hey, I can actually do things that I never got to be thought of. So he started like doing like things his own way, and he fell in love with it.
And improve teaching.
Correct.
Right. So many of us have experienced instructors that we didn't love or didn't get along with. And not necessarily anything bad about those instructors. Some of us, we all started out new, but how wonderful to be inspired to kind of grab the mantle and improve the craft from those experiences. Do you have a most memorable day or event as a flight instructor?
Sí, mi día más memorable fue cuando me echaron de esa escuela, ¿no? Por volar mucho. Encontré que era demasiado injusto y por eso decidí independizarme y hacer mi propia escuela.
Oh yeah, he's saying that his most memorable day is when he got fired from that school, because he was able to create his own flight school and grow everything by himself.
Okay. Yeah, so the proverbial when life hands you lemons. Uh, all right. And so where in Chile do you operate from or your airport?
¿De dónde operamos?
Operamos desde el aeropuerto de Tobalaba, que es el más grande aeropuerto civil en Santiago de Chile, ¿ya? Y ahí hemos estado por 40 años. Tenemos hangares y cada día hemos reducido la cantidad, después de la pandemia, la cantidad de aviones. Teníamos 7 aviones y ahora estamos con uno y soy feliz con uno.
Yeah, so he's saying that he's in Tolaraba, which is the biggest civil aviation airport in Santiago de Chile. He only operates one aircraft right now. He had a bigger fleet, but he's so happy of having only one right now.
Yeah, can make life easier for sure. And so tell me about this one airplane, because we talked a bit about this at Sun and Fun, and this is its own story in itself.
Y cuente un poco del avión.
El avión que tengo ahora es un Piper Cherokee 140 y tiene en este momento 25.600 horas total time.
Cherokee 140 with 25,640 hours. 25,640 dijo, ¿verdad?
Sí,
25,640 hours on a Piper Cherokee 140. That's amazing.
That's an amazing maintenance story as well. To keep that going and then through dare I ask if you've kept track of how many tires through student pilots and
too much.
Too many engines also.
yes, I can imagine. Uh, so have you always been based from that one airport or have you moved around?
He's been there 20 years.
20 years. Okay. Cool. So, just as a question, since I don't know anything about flight training outside of the United States, are flight clubs a common flight training construct in Chile versus what here in the US we would call a flight school?
No, en Chile, los clubes aéreos hacen instrucción para sus socios, ¿ya? Los instructores no reciben pago. Solamente nosotros, los comerciales, recibimos pagos de las escuelas que son comerciales, como el caso mío.
So que entonces usted empezó un flight club y entonces luego usted decidió crear su empresa y entonces ahí es que comenzó a cobrar como instructor
Correcto.
entonces. Okay. So yeah, so he was part of a flight club first, and then the flight clubs, they have some CFIs that they're the ones teaching the students, but they're not getting paid because they're like helping their members.
Oh,
So
okay.
he decided to like just create his own flight school, and now he's getting paid when he created his flight school.
Okay. Yeah, so not too dissimilar from we have both those constructs here too. So um, cool. More similarities. It's always fascinating to see how other places do it. So what is the most memorable or the most unique place that you've flown with a student?
Eh,
El sur de Chile.
el sur de Chile. El sur de Chile es diferente acá al centro, ¿ya? Tenemos nosotros un país muy largo en que tenemos todo tipo de climas. Al norte es desierto, al centro es
Templado.
templado, tenemos 4 estaciones del año muy marcadas, y al sur es lluvia, frío.
Y
El,
glaciares.
y glaciales más al sur. Esa parte es la más emocionante para volar, el sur, más peligrosa, pero el centro es muy fácil para volar.
Okay. Well, so he's saying that it was south of Chile, because then it's a very long country. So at the north, they have deserts. In the middle, it's like more like just a generic kind of climate where they have like four stations of the year. But on the south, it's like glaciers. So yeah, it's like they were actually flying on that part of the area, and he feels like that's the most memorable part.
I can imagine. Yeah, that sounds absolutely beautiful. And to be able to incorporate all of that type of scenery into flight training, and not just scenery, all of the, the climates and performance challenges that could bring to really make someone's flight training a rich experience and a diverse experience to better prepare them
Yeah,
for
that's
life as a
about
pilot.
you had a lot of climate change and a lot of wind also. So
Mm.
it's very exciting to fly there.
Yeah, I suppose with Chile being, almost entirely coastal, um, you would have a lot of a lot of opportunity for wind, um, and rather mountainous too.
Así que es
Yes.
todas montañas. Acá ponemos todo montaña desde el comienzo hasta el final. Nos separa de Argentina, ese es nuestro límite y son las montañas más altas de Sudamérica.
Wow. Yeah, so he's saying that the mountain coast is the one dividing Chile from Argentina.
Okay.
So they're like very high mountains.
All right. Cool. So, Rodrigo, what inspired you to apply for the Guinness World Record?
La inspiración fue gracias a mis idas a San Anfán. Un día conversando hace 4 años atrás con las personas que me venden los headphones, es la SBIT, me preguntaron cuántas horas tenía y ellos dijeron, entonces eso es récord mundial. Yo dije, no tengo idea, pero voy a averiguar. Y así fue que averiguamos y nos inscribimos y a los 6 meses de estudio en Guinness, no, me confirmaron y me enviaron el certificado de que lo habían realizado en 106 países y no había nadie que tuviera tantas horas.
Wow, so he was saying that he got knowledge of it after going to Sun and Fun multiple times, and he was talking to Lightspeed people, the people like he wears Lightspeed headsets, and when they ask him how many instruction hours you have, and he mentioned the amount of hours, they said that's a world record. So he decided to go and do some research, and then they reached out to Guinness World Records. They did a long research for 6 months, and they did a research in 106 countries. And after 6 months, they actually made the certification, and they sent him the world record.
How amazing. All because you came to Sun and Fun to learn
Es,
about that. And you said you've come to Sun and Fun for many years now.
28 años.
28 years.
28.
Wow. Um, what an amazing trek to make for all that time. It's such a fun show. So with the for the world record, you had, I'm guessing, to submit copies of your logbook.
Yeah.
Sí, yes.
Okay.
Mhm. And I have the certificado.
And the certificate of the Chilean authorities that signed that the many hours he has, that we had to send to Guinness, and they certified that it was a correct number.
Oh, no, that's interesting. That second step. I don't even know how you would go about doing that in the US with the FAA. You'd have to make a friend somewhere, I'd guess. And
Yeah, here in Chile, every year you need to sign your logbook with the Chilean FAA, and they keep a record on your hours.
oh, okay. Yeah, see here you you only have to report your hours if you're applying for a new certificate or rating. Um, And you have opportunities otherwise if you want to, but you still have to be submitting an application for something. Otherwise, there's no national database. Everybody keeps their own records. So if you don't apply for a new certificate or rating for a long time, or submit an application for something, when you complete a flight review, you're just on your own with your logbook.
Uh,
Um, so it's
Yeah.
interesting. I love learning about how different countries, conduct
Um,
their regulations and manage those things.
mm. And also every time because Rodrigo needs to renew his ICIFR
Mhm.
with an inspector of the Chilean FAA, and it's every 6 months, and
6 months.
then he keeps his records on signed by this inspector.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's a secondary. Yeah, here you only need to do that for most flight instructors with just with another flight instructor. If they happen to be flying, in some sort of commercial operation, there may be different record keeping requirements. But for us here, we only need to renew or now establish our recent experience as a flight instructor every 24 calendar months. And you have to submit an application, but it's not required to submit your hours on that particular application.
Okay.
So you could, it's a long nitpicky form, so I don't, I don't do it every time. Um, so, cool. Well, Rodrigo, having so much experience as a flight instructor, what would you tell a young flight instructor who, just got their certificate? They're just venturing out in the world of flight instruction. What advice would you give them?
Ok, es una muy bella carrera. Yo fui comandante de aerolínea por 14 años, ¿ya? Y preferí retirarme y continuar en forma privada con este negocio que hice, porque para mí es un negocio, ¿ya? Y me encanta, es algo que todos los días me motiva, ¿ya? Porque es una satisfacción tener tantos alumnos. En este momento tengo 1478 exalumnos y todos me escriben y son felices de haber hecho el curso conmigo. O sea, hay muchos pilotos de aerolínea que son mis alumnos. Cuando vuelo siempre me toca algún alumno volando y es una satisfacción personal.
He's saying that it's a beautiful career, that he was an airline captain for 14 years, but he decided to just, continue on being an instructor. As of today, he has 1,478 alumni that they went through the CFI training with him, like the whole career. And he feels like he's safer when he's going to fly in airlines, and his students are the ones flying him from point A to point B. So he feels like it's a safe, a place to be with his students.
Okay, yeah. So, though, that's part of why, those of us who do instruct for so long love it and watching others grow and develop in their own careers and achieve their own goals. All right. How many hours a year are you still flight instructing?
Eh, 1,500, sí, about 1,500.
That's a lot of time in the right seat of a Cherokee.
Our,
Well, left seat, I suppose, if you're working with, flight instructor candidates as well. But my goodness, it's just so amazing to have stuck with it for this long. So, Rodrigo, how do you integrate ground training and flight training? Do you have any, techniques for that? Especially, I can imagine you have a great deal of weather challenges with coastal and mountain and things like that, and motivating students perhaps when the weather gets rough and they're on the ground for a while.
Todo eso lo hago en forma, yo me dedico solamente a volar. Tengo 4 instructores teóricos y eso hacemos nuestra instrucción vía internet. ¿Ah? Esos 4 instructores me preparan los alumnos en la parte teórica y yo hago la parte divertida, que es volar.
Okay. So he's saying that he has other 4 CFIs that they're working on the. Allá necesitan también oral y escrito también. So que
Bueno,
ellos se dedican los dos. Okay, so yeah, he has 4 instructors that they're helping him with for the written and the oral portion, where he's doing like just the flying, which is the most exciting portion.
Mm. So that's the trick. Gain seniority and do the fun stuff.
Yes.
Oh, I like it. Okay, Rodrigo, as we wrap up here, do you have any, parting words of wisdom for flight instructors, as a whole, those just starting out, those who are, eyeing their next career, or those who may be looking to be lifelong instructors?
Si tienes algún consejo, algún incentivo para los instructores que quieran partir y los que quieran continuar su carrera como
sí.
instructor de vuelo.
Los que quieran partir, que continúen, porque la mayoría también pasa acá en Chile, de los que quieren juntar horas, ¿ya? Lo hacen en forma gratuita en los clubes aéreos, ¿ya? Pero llegan acá en Chile no es 1500 horas como en Estados Unidos, acá es más fácil,
Entrar a línea
son
aérea.
solo 200 horas para entrar a aerolínea, ¿ya? Entonces ellos llegan a las 200 horas y dejan de ser instructores porque prefieren aerolíneas.
Okay. Y so que su consejo en otras palabras es que ellos pues sigan,
Claro,
eh,
En la
que
misma forma.
continúen sí,
o sigan en forma paralela, se puede hacer en forma paralela. Yo al
ujú,
comienzo, cuando trabajaba como comandante, también hacía instrucción. En mis días libres sí continuaba con la escuela, ¿ya? En ese
ya,
tiempo, claro, yo la dirigía y tenía instructores prácticos y teóricos, teníamos 11 instructores, pero el, preferí y dejé de volar precisamente por eso, porque era mejor que yo controlara todo y estar al día viendo cómo funcionaba la escuela.
okay. Yeah, so he's saying that over there in Chile, you don't need 1,500 hours in order to get to an airline. You only need 200 hours. So he's just trying to encourage people to continue flight instruction. Like you can do it at the same time while you're flying for an airline. You can also, on your time off, continue doing flight instruction. So that's what he's saying. Like it's a beautiful career, and people should continue to do it on the side. And if you're doing it for a flight club, like technically you don't get paid or anything, and you don't have to work for a flight school. But yeah, he's saying that it's only 200 hours, so they should just continue training people.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful. Yeah, and that's, I mean, not too far. Or, the US is only a few years away from our minimums having been 250. So, that's, just within the past 10 years that the 1500 rule has come into effect. So, um, wonderful advice and certainly applicable here. We would love to have more experienced instructors stick around the field, even part-time on the side would be wonderful. All right. Well, Rodrigo, Ines, and Gus, thank you so much for taking all of your time to come on the podcast today. I appreciate that we were able to make this connection across so much time and space. I mean, we all kind of stumbled upon each other at our booth at Sun and Fun, and now here we are in 2 different places in the U.S. and recording from with a guest from Chile. To me, this is the magic of the podcast. All right, thank you so much for being here today.
De
Thank you
nada,
all.
un placer. Thank you.
Nice meeting. Nice talking to you.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of NAFI's More Right Rudder podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe. You can get this podcast in video version on YouTube or you can get the audio version anywhere you get your podcasts.